This is Terry Kurtz On-Line reporting on Victor Valley, High Desert, and Mojave River Valley events, activities, entertainment, and history.
Operation Consequences update. In their latest operation, investigators from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department Gangs Narcotics Division contacted gang members and people prohibited from possessing firearms. 31 search warrants were issued, 44 felony arrests and 20 misdemeanor arrests were made, and 33 firearms were seized. Deputies from the county's Specialized Enforcement Division, Jail Intelligence Team, County Probation Department, California Highway Patrol, Department of Homeland Security Investigations, and Barstow Police Department participated in this latest crime suppression effort. In addition, the San Bernardino Movement Against Street Hoodlums, SMASH, Street Enforcement Team conducted proactive patrols in the city of Victorville and surrounding jurisdictions. Operation Consequences focuses on conducting targeted crime suppression operations in the high desert and the sheriff's jurisdiction surrounding the city of San Bernardino. These recent series of Consequences dragnets bring to over 80 felons taken into custody in the past 10 weeks and 67 firearms taken off the streets since the first of the year. Thousands of people are bilked every year by criminals who enter the lives of their victims through their telephone. About half of all mobile calls are fraudulent, and there is always a new scam on the horizon or an updated version of an old one. While seniors are often the target of scammers, anyone can be targeted. Imposter scams come in many forms and target a broad range of victim demographics. They all, however, work the same way. Here's a look at some of the most current phone scams according to the FBI and the Federal Trade Commission's Bureau of Consumer Protection. The IRS phone scam is especially common. The scammer says the IRS is suing you and you owe them money, and they threaten to send the police if not paid within an hour. The latest phone scam even includes caller ID showing the letters IRS when they call. The key to avoiding being hit by these scams is to know that the IRS does not make threatening phone calls, nor do they request wire transfers over the phone. The Federal Trade Commission cautions against ever paying a tax bill with a prepaid debit card, which the IRS would never request. QR code imposter scams are increasing. A QR code is a type of two-dimensional matrix barcode. QR stands for quick response. Chances are you've been seeing more QR codes lately, even if you don't know them by name. These barcode-like symbols that you scan with your phone have become increasingly popular with stores and restaurants who use them for quick order pickup or to launch virtual menus. But cyber criminals are also using legitimate-looking QR codes to direct people to sites that can steal personal data or payments. One of the best ways to protect yourself, thoroughly examine any website you're directed to from a QR code. This includes checking the URL, which shouldn't include typos or other suspicious-looking information, and always avoid using such websites for any form of payment. Then there's the grandchild imposter scam. As the name implies, the grandchild scam preys on the elderly, with the con artist calling the victim and posing as a grandchild who has fallen into a desperate situation, such as running out of money or encountering legal trouble while traveling. The scammer will then ask for money to be wired to a foreign address and then completely disappear once the money is received. If you receive a call like this, always reach out to your grandchild's phone number or talk to others who can clarify whether the grandchild really is in trouble and needs help. Family emergency scams expand the grandchild scam to any family member. debt collector scams involve a con artist pretending to represent a collection agency offering a dramatic discount on a debt you actually didn't incur. Always refuse to pay a debt without a legally required validation notice, as well as the name of the creditor, amount of the debt, and the caller's name, address, and phone number. Online dating scams prey on people searching for love by establishing trust with a prospective romantic partner. Tech support scammers call to report a problem with your computer that can be fixed only if you download predatory software. Online shopping scams are another dishonest scheme on the increase. Fraudsters contact people with claims that there's a package waiting for them if they just click on a link or hand over identification information. Spear phishing is a cyber attack method that hackers use to steal sensitive information or install malware on the device of the victim. The spear phishing criminal shows some of the victim's personal information in an effort to get the victim to surrender the rest. If the scammer has the last 4 digits of your social security number and your zip code, you may assume the caller must be legitimate. The swindler says they're trying to sort out irregular spending patterns on your debit card and offers the last 4 digits of your social security number and then asks you to provide the rest of the number for security purposes. Just don't. To avoid phone scams, don't answer calls from unfamiliar numbers. Criminals have found another way to try and install a virus or gain backdoor access to your computer. It is called a drop attack. A thumb drive is dropped with the hope that it'll be picked up and you will open the thumb drive out of curiosity. Criminals drop a USB drive infected with ransomware where it will be found and used by the unwary. They've also been known to send infected drives through the mail. Such attacks are known as USB drop attacks. The FBI has warned of such drop attacks being carried out with USB drives being mailed through the United States Postal Service and UPS. You are advised never plug a USB drive from an unknown source into your computer. The National Security Agency recommends powering off and on your smartphone every week to protect yourself from cyber attacks. Rebooting your smartphone weekly helps protect against zero-click exploits, which attackers use to eavesdrop and gather data from phones. While rebooting won't completely thwart more advanced schemes, many modern cyber attacks involve a sequence of multiple vulnerabilities that need to be exploited in succession. Restarting your phone makes the attacker start over, which can disrupt their progress. Restarting your phone not only helps you avoid cyber attacks, but it also makes your phone run smoothly. Manufacturers recommend restarting your phone regularly to prevent it from slowing down or freezing. A quick restart clears out background apps, fixes overheating, resolves memory issues, and improves call signals even if it's just for a short time. Most importantly, it gives your device a fresh start, which means smoother performance and a longer-lasting battery. This applies to both Android phones and iPhones. Everywhere you turn, there's another online scam. The fraudsters always pivot where the attention is, and now that's politics and elections. Beware of phony donation campaigns. Please come in text messages, social media posts, and direct messages. Here are a few do's and don'ts for keeping your money safe. Do use a credit card. Checks and debit cards do not have the same scam protections. Do not give payment information over the phone. Don't click links. That includes those in emails, texts, or any other source. It was less than 2 years ago that residents of Victorville were being alerted by the city about a new scam targeting local homeowners. Individuals posing as City of Victorville employees have been approaching residents with claims of needing to test the water quality within their homes. City officials have clarified that actual Victorville employees will never make unsolicited visits to conduct such tests. Official water quality assessments are carried out at designated wells and distribution points managed by the Water Department. The concern is that the fraudulent activity may not only be an attempt to sell unnecessary services or products, but also a method to gather personal information from unsuspecting individuals.
As long as it starts with a smile on your face, Joseph W., we want to turn our attention to Turning Point. And not a lot of people realize that there is a Turning Point Foundation here at Victor Valley College.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I think we lost a great leader. And for some people that may not, like Charlie, I understand you have your own beliefs. Deb and I became strong supporters of Turning Point long before Charlie was assassinated. And we decided to go to their AmFest festival, which they apparently always do right before Christmas, like the week before. And we had bought the tickets. And what's funny about this, it's not funny, this is true. Deb loves Christmas. She loves Thanksgiving. She loves decorating the house. And I said to her in, I think, February, we had decided to make it a good donation. And I said, hey, we can get some VIP seats and all that. And I said, would you like to go? And Terry, without hesitation, without her saying, I'm not going to be home, she said, yeah. Well, we were gone, I think it was the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th or whatever. We drove down on a Wednesday. The program started Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was over about 12 o'clock on Sunday. We did get invited to a kind of a private dinner with about 150 people with Erica. So we got a chance to hear her, be in a small, secluded crowd, meet some people, and a family, I'll mention them in here, out of Texas. They're screenwriters and apparently very much involved with Hollywood. They purchased the campus that Turning Point sits on today. So the night that we had the private dinner, we were at the Turning Point campus. And it's in Phoenix, kind of, I want to say like northern Phoenix. And there are 6 buildings. Buildings look like they're probably 20,000 square feet. They're like 2-story white concrete tiled buildings. And that is all a part of the campus. And I guess that there had been an ongoing conversation with Erica and Charlie and this family for a long period of time. So the buildings have been bought. The campus will be there in perpetuity. So we went to the dinner on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we were there, let's say 4 or 5 hours. Because what they're really smart about doing is they've got... it's held at the Phoenix Convention Center. They have 33,000 people show. And the nice thing is that you have 33,000 people that respect each other. Most people are Christian, and you just have a lot of camaraderie. So you weren't looking over your shoulder. There were some protesters out in front. I think there were like 20 of them. But there were 33,000 people there. They had 70 speakers, and they were really smart in how they broke them up. So a lot of places with exhibits, they probably had 100 plus exhibitors that had all kinds of different products that are tied to Turning Point or part of Turning Point or people that really support the Turning Point deal. But let me go through some of the speakers, and what I will tell you was this. You watch the media, and the media, I'm always flipping channels, whether it be through Fox, CNN, Newsmax, MSNBC. It's no different. I have 6 or 7 feeds on my phone, so the same story will come out 6 different ways until Sunday with 6 different spins. So after the first day, the headlines are that there's unrest in the Republican Party, or there's unrest down at Turning Point, and that people can't get along. And where it started was this: Ben Shapiro was the #1 speaker. So Ben Shapiro comes out and speaks for 25 minutes. And says what Ben Shapiro wanted to say. What he wanted to say, and he was going to say it anyway. Well, he was kind of poking at Tucker Carlson, okay? So 5 speakers later, Tucker Carlson comes out, and Tucker he talks about anti-Semitism, and how he's totally against this, and he pokes back at Ben Shapiro. Okay, so I don't think there's anything wrong, because I think that the one thing that Charlie Kirk said is that we need to be able to have a conversation. We need to agree to disagree, but most importantly, be respectful. Just be respectful. So the next day, we come, and one of the major speakers, I don't know, fifth or sixth, is Steve Bannon. Well, for those who know Steve Bannon, he just says it the way it is. So who does he go after? He goes after Shapiro and Tucker. Okay, and he basically lays them both out. Well, I still don't see anything wrong with saying this is how I think, and somebody disagrees. But let me just give you a list of the speakers, and they apparently have this list every year. I guess last year Donald Trump showed up, but they had 33,000. There was not a seat left. Okay, so we had Vance, Vice President Vance. We had Erica Kirk. She spoke a couple times. We had Donald Trump Jr., Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Megyn Kelly, Glenn Beck, Dr. Ben Carson, Andy Biggs, Roger Stone, Secretary Sean Duffy, Savannah Chrisley, Danica Patrick, the race car driver, Benny Johnson. And what was nice is that the way that they did it was they grouped them together, so maybe you'd be in there for maybe 2.5 hours or 3 hours. So each speaker gave, and they had them timed to the minute, and they were very odd. So Terry Kurtz may have gotten 11 minutes, where Joseph Brady got 10 minutes, but they were pretty much on time. Great show. Really, I think what I learned out of it, Terry, is you really have to. I think we all need to, as Americans, and I think we all need to around the world, start respecting people's opinions. I don't like what I see on TV right now. I think that the media has. I don't think the media learned a lesson in November of last year. Okay, I mean in November of 2024. The public spoke. The public wants things done. The one thing I hear a lot, and I think it's true. I don't advocate everything that Donald Trump does. I like his policies, but I think when people say if he were to cure cancer, that people would still come after him. We live in a country now that we just don't need that. I think we need to be a lot more respectful to people. I will say this for some of my clients and for those that watch this. The economy is doing a whole lot better than people report. And there is no doubt, if you just look at inflation numbers this week, 6 different headlines, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal, CNN, they all had an angle on, they're getting worse, or nothing's improving. And at the end of the day, when you look at like the tariffs, and I personally hope that the Supreme Court that rules those tariffs were, if Trump is exaggerating and he only brought in $12 trillion, okay, versus the 18 trillion he talks about, he tends to, puff things up a little bit. That's so great for our country. The issue of Venezuela, I totally support. What we have to do in Iran, I totally support. I have a lot of Iranian clients and a lot of really good Iranian friends. I remember I lived in Santa Barbara when the Shah moved into Hope Ranch. I just think we need to treat each other with more respect. And, people being trained to go on out and, shoot at cops and people are trying to protect our country. I just don't understand. I kind of the belief, you don't like our country, just move. There's a lot of places around the world that you can go. But I think being respectful. So one thing I really came away from Turning Point was what Charlie Kirk believed is we could agree to disagree, but do it in a respectful way. And I think we really need to get back to that. And every once in a while I'm kind of debating somebody on I try to really think about that versus, am I right? It doesn't matter. Are you wrong? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Do we have two different opinions? I've got a lot of friends of mine on the Democratic side that were great friends. I mean, I think about a local guy here. Well, everybody knows John Pinkerton's my brother. So, John says left-wing socialist Democrat. But you take a guy, Chris Ochoa. Chris is on the Hesperia City Council. We don't agree about everything, but we get along. Derek Marshall and I don't agree about everything, and when we disagree, he knows I disagree with him. Okay, he'll put out these not tweets, but he'll do it on the phone because I'm hooked up to him, and just start bashing what's going on. And I'll call him up and say, Derek, come on, whoa, you're drinking this Kool-Aid. So it's a great show. I will say this: we actually have a person that is our contact for Turning Point. And yes, the college does have a chapter, and Deb and I are just we're incredibly grateful to Jennifer Fowley. She has a partner at the college that have championed this. She's on the faculty. And we've offered to help them at any time they need. We have a person that oversees California, and she's the point contact for California, and her name is Jasmine Wilson. Just an incredibly nice lady. Jasmine, I want to send this thing to you, and again, Deb and I can't thank you enough for the courtesies that you showed us. What I want to do, Terry, is this. On the next time that we meet in the next month, I want to do a shorter segment of this, and I want to put it out to 7,000 Southern California brokers, 500 on up here, 3,500 people that are VIP up here. I want to share this so that people, if they want to join Turning Point, they want to just get if you want to get, if you need some help at Turning Point or introducing to Jasmine, feel free, Terry, put my name, my cell number, and my email, because Jasmine is she's a delightful lady. We really enjoyed the time we had with her, but we told her go spend time with other people from California that you're trying to cultivate. They're trying to cultivate long-term relationships. I just like what they stand for, and I think that they're trying to make this a better place to live, work, and play. So thanks.
This is an appropriate time of year for us to take a virtual tour of the Mission San Juan Capistrano. Mission San Juan Capistrano was founded more than 200 years ago, established to expand the territorial boundaries of Spain and to spread Christianity to the native peoples of California. The mission features a chapel still standing and, today, is a monument to California's multicultural history, embracing its Native Americans, Spanish, Mexican, and European heritage. Originally built as a self-sufficient community by Spanish padres and Native Americans, the mission was a center for agriculture, industry, education, and religion. Mission San Juan Capistrano's oldest tradition is the ringing of the historic bells. This tradition has the ringing of the bells on designated feast days, holidays, and community celebrations, including March 19th, Feast Day of St. Joseph. The original two largest bells hang in the footprint of the bell tower of the ruins of the great stone church. On the bell wall are two replica large bells and the original two small bells, which are still rung today. The miracle of the swallows of Capistrano takes place each year on March 19th, St. Joseph's Day. Swallows migrate 6,000 miles from Goya, Argentina, to San Juan Capistrano in large groups dating back to the early 1800s. The first official celebration of the swallows' return to the mission was commemorated with a parade and fiesta on March 19, 2021. This statue of the riderless horse was erected in the mid-1990s, a memorial to the soldiers who protected the mission. An empty saddle ceremony is held at least twice a year, first in late March and again in September. The next ringing of the bells at Mission San Juan Capistrano will be July 1st, Feast Day. There's this baseball movie coming out in March called Ghost of the Game. It's directed by Daryl Warren, a former Victor Valley resident whose sons, Daryl and Tyler, were all-league basketball players at Silverado High School in the early 1990s. Many scenes were filmed in 2023 at Mavericks Stadium with a number of background players, local residents.
You boys aren't thinking about the ghost of the game, are you?
Yeah, why?
Every time the black players and some of the white players try and combine the leagues.
I said he was safe. What I say goes.
Hey, you heard it.
But it erupts into a brawl or people get hurt.
Maybe somewhere else, but not here. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
These excerpts from a CBS interview make the movie's theme even more timely today than when it took place 5 years ago.
How did you come up with this storyline?
In life, you see all over the news what's going on now and everything with all the craziness that's going on and all the rhetoric between people arguing and stuff like that. And you think about it, we're all together, we're all the same, and people have to unite, be together, and play together because it's part of our history. Not only do we see, how it was back then, but you look at the teams today and how it is today and everything, and everybody's playing together, but you have to know your history, where baseball started from.
It's a situation. Goes to the past, believe your talent is not up to par with theirs. You guys are going to play 3-game series against each other. Starting with the home run contest. 3 series games. 3 against Disney and his players, 3 against Satchel and his players.
Listen up, guys. There's been a change. The old timer's going to combine their team. You guys have a problem with that?
Who cares?
And to really understand and everything, you get a respect of the game. We take what we have in the past, what we learned and everything, we learn from that. We continue to play together. Like I said, the story of this is we all have to play together. People are going to love it. It's for the whole family. You have a family film, so it's definitely going to be really good.
Ghost of the Game premieres March 27th, 28th, and 29th at the Skyline Drive-In Theater in Barstow. That's the week Major League Baseball's season begins. Ghost of the Game will then be shown at the Starlight Cinemas in Rancho Cucamonga at a later date to be announced.
Apple Valley Unified School District secondary schools have been in the forefront statewide when it comes to receiving distinctions for academies that prepare students for careers.
The Distinguished Academies, in the state of California, I believe there's about 480, maybe close to 500 what are called California Partnership Academies, grant recipient, and we have 2 on our campus. And both academies, our computer and media pathway, as well as our MAST, medical and health science technology pathways, were recognized and actually awarded the Distinguished Academy.
Partnerships and teamwork from private sectors, civic and education leaders contribute to the success of these academies.
I think it's some of the little things. We have these great industry partnerships that feed us, and we try to reciprocate, giving them quality applicants. But even lately, we had, my understanding is we're now the only district in our local area where the Board of Trustees has actually approved a drone protocol to meet all the FAs, which for our computer and media pathway is huge because the aerial footage they can get now is just phenomenal. And I know up at the district they did a lot of work to get that policy written and to have the board support it and put that in the hands of our kids is just phenomenal. So those are the little things that I think really set those academies apart, above and beyond. So,
Future Forward in 2018 includes the Granite Hills High School introduction of its GREAT Academy.
The GREAT stands for, obviously, Granite Recording and Entertainment Arts Training.
The thing that we found that we didn't necessarily think was lacking, but that we could better service our students, was to offer them a connection with what they're learning in our programs with what they can actually take with them into the job market.
I have so many opportunities with the GREAT Academy because we have Pro Tools, we're getting Adobe Suites, and Pro Tools is basically our studio professional recording equipment. It's what the top artists nowadays use.
We will work with the dance department to provide music for them. We'll work with the drama department to provide music for their shows. But more than anything, it's also to record our students. We're working here on trying to give an opportunity to our students and a space for them to explore their creativity and create music.
Apple Valley's Ag and FFA program, the only 4-year Ag and FFA high school program of its kind in California, is having a new state-of-the-art veterinarian science barn built. From where did the funding come?
4 years ago, we started fundraising with our Ag Boosters and Ag Advisory Committee. We were able to generate in 4 years about $80,000 before the school district stepped up and wrote a grant called the CTE Incentive Grant, quite a large sum of money, and $300,000 of it is going to go to build our barn. So they picked up the major bulk of this. The $80,000 that supporters have raised is going to go to furnish the barn inside with new equipment.
Further details on this project on a forthcoming Apple Valley Unified School District Future Forward report.
That's a wrap on this edition of Terry Kurtz On-Line. On behalf of Victor Valley Television Productions, thank you for watching. We hope to see you again next time around.